Module 33, Video 1. Hello students and welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Shefali Nagpal, Associate Professor at Human Resource Development Center, Bhagat Phool Singh Mahila Vishwavidyalaya, Sonipat. We are studying the paper Development of Management Thoughts, Principles and Types, and today we will study the module Organizational Control. On the completion of this module, you would be able to understand the control system, its types and the process and its importance. Let us begin with the basic introduction. The organizational coordination and control is taking a systematic or adopting a systematic approach to figuring out what we are doing and where we want to go or what we want to do. It is a part of the planning if you have decided what you want it to be and what you want to do. Some of the major approaches in the organizational control and coordination are: control allow you to align the pieces within the big picture, as it has been stated by the Jansen. A new, more organic form or organizations, that is self-organizing, self-managed teams and network organizations etc. allow the organizations to be more responsive and adaptable in today's rapidly changing world. These forms are cultivate the empowerment among the employees and much more than the hierarchical rigid structures of the organizations of the past. Many people assert that the nature of the organization has changed, so the nature of the management control should also change. Some people go for as to claim that management should not exercise any form of control whatsoever. They claim that management should exist to support the employees' effort to be fully productive, the members of the organization and the communities. Therefore, any form of control is completely counterproductive to the management and employees. Whereas, some people even react strongly against the phrase management control, and the word itself has a negative connotation. For example, it can sound dominating, it may also achieve or perceived to be like coercive or heavy-handed. It seems that the writer of the management literature now prefer to use the term coordinating rather than the controlling these days. Let us understand the few definitions of it. An effective organization is the one where the manager understands how to manage and control. The objective as a concept and the process is to help motivate and direct the employees in their roles. Understanding the managerial control process and system is essential for long-term effectiveness of an organization. The term control has different connotations depending upon the context of the use of the term. In manufacturing, it refers to a device or mechanism installed or instituted to guide or regulate the activities or the operation of an apparatus, machine, person or system. In law, it may refer to the controlling interest, and in management, it may be an authority to order or to manage the working or management of an entity. Let us understand the concept of organizational control. Control is a management process to aim at achieving the defined goals within an established timetable and comprises of the three components. One is setting up of the standards, second is measuring actual performance, third is taking corrective actions. Regardless of the negative connotation of the word control, it must exist or there will be no organization at all. In its most basic form, an organization is two or more people working together to reach a goal. Whether an organization is highly bureaucratic or changing and self-organizing, the organizations must exist for some reason, some purpose, some mission, which may be implicit or explicit, or it isn't an organization at all. The organizations must have some goal. Identifying this goal requires some form of planning, which may be formal or informal. Reaching the goals means identifying some strategies, which may again be formal or informal. These strategies are agreed upon by the members of the organization through some form of communication. which can be again formal or informal means of communication. Then members set about to act in accordance with what they agreed to do. An effective organization is the one where manager understand how to control and manage. The objective of the control as a concept and a process is to help motivate and direct the employees in their roles. Understanding managerial control process and system is essential for long-term effectiveness of an organization. The term control has different connotations depending upon the context of use of the term. In manufacturing, it may refer to a device or a mechanism installed or instituted to guide or relates to the activities or operation of an apparatus, machine, person or system. In law, it may refer to controlling interest. In management, it may be an authority to order or manage the working and management of an entity. Effective management and leadership involve creative problem solving, motivating employees, and making sure the organization accomplishes the objectives and goals. There are 5 functions of management and leadership. One is planning, second is organizing, third is staffing, fourth is coordinating, and fifth is controlling. Controlling. Controlling is the 4th step of the management process. In this step, management develops measuring tool used to determine whether organizational goals are being met. Management also compare the data to measure for the results and if needed the corrective action. Control can focus on the issues before, during and after the process. The best way to understand the 3 different types of organizational control is to think about the control as before, during and after the decision has been made by the managers. The controlling function of the management is useful for ensuring all other functions of the organizations are in place and are operating successfully. Controlling involves establishment of the performance standards, monitoring the output of the employees to ensure that each employee performance meet those standards. And the controlling process often leads to the identification of certain situations and problems that need to be addressed by creating new performance standards. The level of performance affects the success of all aspects of the organization. Let us understand the few steps which are involved in the controlling. One is establishing the performance standards. This involves decision making about the goals which an organization want to focus on during a period of time. These can be financial, customer satisfaction, production or employee performance related goals. Second is comparing the actual performance against standards. This involves creating measuring tools to collect data. The tools should be able to report on performance as it relates to the standard sets or measures developed in the first step of the controlling process. These tools can be a balance sheet, sales report, data collected from the customer satisfaction survey or even an employee performance appraisal. Using the measuring tool created in the second step, managers are able to compare current performance and productivity to the standard set. A manager may want to compare the sale performance from last year to this year by comparing the actual sales from the previous year to the sales of the current year. This comparison tells a manager whether the sales team is below or meeting or exceeding the goal standards. Then is taking the corrective actions when necessary. This involves determining whether changes needed to be made, what changes needed to be made, or devising a plan for making changes. Managers will use comparison to determine what needs to be investigated. If sales are lower than the expected, managers will look at the various things. Perhaps the salespersons are not making as many client calls as they did last year. In this case, corrective action may be taken against the employees for non-performance. A manager may look at the work itself. Maybe there are too many clients and not enough staff. In this case, manager may have to hire more staff. The price of the product or the services may be too high. It may affect the demand. In this case, a manager may have to look at the ways to add value to the product and services or lower the prices. Performance standards are often stated in monetary terms such as revenue, cost, profits, but may also be stated in other terms such as unit produced, number of defective products, or level of quality or customer service. Measurement of the performance can be done in the several ways depending upon the performance standards, including financial statements, sale report, production results, customer satisfaction, formal performance appraisals. Managers at all level engage in the managerial function of controlling to some degree. The managerial function of controlling should not be confused with the control in the behavioral or manipulative sense. This function does not imply that managers should attempt to control or to manipulate the personalities, values, attitudes or emotions of their subordinate. Instead, this function of management concerns the management role in taking necessary actions to ensure that the work-related activities of subordinates are consistent with contributing towards accomplishment of the organizational and departmental objectives. The effective controlling requires the existence of the plans, since planning provides the necessary performance standards or objectives. Controlling also requires a clear understanding of where the responsibility for deviations from the standard lies. Two traditional control techniques are budget and performance audit. An audit involves an examination and verification of the reports and supporting documents. A budget audit provides information about where the organization is with respect to what was planned or budgeted for, whereas a performance audit might try to determine whether the figures reported are a reflection of actual performance. Although controlling is often thought of in terms of financial criteria, manager must also control the production and operation processes, procedures for delivery of the services, compliance with the company's policy, and many other activities within the organization. You can see in the figure below the control process. Now let us understand the various administrative controls. Controls are exercised through various means by the superiors in an organization. Information are collected through various sources like document, delegation, reporting, evaluation at different functions and areas. Performance appraisal in case of HR, quality checks and controls adopted. Let us take a brief look here. Standardized documents. Organizations often use the standardized documents to ensure complete and consistent information. Documents include titles and dates to detect the different versions of the document. Computers have revolutionized administrative controls through the use of integrated management information system, project management software, human resource information systems, office automation, softwares, etc. Organizations typically require a wide range of reports, for example, financial reports, status report, project reports, etc., to monitor what's being done by when and how. Another is delegation. Delegation is an approach to get things done in conjunction with the other employees. Delegation is often viewed as a major means of influence and therefore is categorized as the activity in leading. Delegation generally include assigning responsibility to an employee to complete a task, granting the employee sufficient authority to gain the resources to do the task, and letting the employee decide how that task will be carried out. Typically, the person assigning the task share accountability with the employee for ensuring the task is completed. Evaluation. Evaluation is carefully collecting and analyzing the information in order to make the decisions. There are many types of evaluations in the organization. For example, evaluation of marketing efforts, evaluation of employee performance, program evaluation, and similarly many more. Evaluation can focus on many aspects of the organization and its processes, for example, its goals, processes, outcomes, etc. Performance management, particularly observation and feedback. Performance management focuses on the performance of the total organization, which include its processes, critical subsystems, which may include the department, programs, projects, etc., and employees. Most of us has some basic impression of the employee performance management, including the role of the performance review. Performance review provide an opportunity for the supervisor for their employees to regularly communicate about the goals, how well these goals should be met and how well the goals are being met and what must be done to continue to meet those goals. Then is quality control and operation management. The concept of quality control has received a great deal of attention over the past 20 years. Many people recognize the phrases such as do it right the first time or zero effects, total quality management, so and so forth. Very broadly, quality includes specifying a performance standard, often by benchmarking or comparing to a well accepted standard, monitoring and measuring the results, comparing the results to the standards and then making the adjustments as necessary wherever. Recently, the concept of quality management has expanded to include the organization-wide programs such as total quality management, ISO 9000, balanced scorecard and so on. Let us now understand the types of control. Control can focus on events before, during and after the process. For example, a local automobile dealer can focus on the activities before, during and after the sale of the new cars. Such control may be respectively called as preventive, detective and corrective. Types of control. As you can see in the figure below also, there is inputs where the preliminary control is used, which focuses on the inputs to the organizational system. Then is screening control, which is used during the process or transformation and focuses on how inputs are being transformed into outputs. Then third is the post-action control, which focuses on the outputs from the organizational system, and throughout the process it is controlled with the feedback. On the basis of the various categories, the control may be the feed-forward control, concurrent control and feedback control. First is feed-forward control. The objective of the feed-forward control or preliminary control is to anticipate the likely problems and to exercise control even before the activity has started or problem has occurred or been reported. It is future directed. This kind of control is very popular in airlines. They go in for the preventive maintenance activities to detect and prevent structural damage, which may result in disaster. These controls are evident in the selection and hiring of the new employees. It helps in taking action beforehand. In case of the feedback control, one relies on historical data, which will come after the activity has been performed. This means information is late and rectification is not possible. One can make correction only for the future activities. That means whatever wrong has been done is done and cannot be undone. Though future directed control is largely disregarded in the practice because managers have been excessively dependent on accounting and statistical data for the purpose of control. In the absence of any means of looking forward, reference to history is considered better than no reference at all. However, the concept of the feed forwarding has been applied now and then. One common way managers have practiced it is through the careful and repeated forecast using the latest available information, comparing what is desired with the forecast and then introducing the program changes so that the forecast can be made more promising. Second type of control is concurrent control. The concurrent control monitors ongoing employee activities to ensure consistency with the quality standards that takes place while an activity is on or in progress. It involves the regulation of the ongoing activity that are part of the transformation process to ensure that they conform to the organizational standards. The technique of the direct supervision is best known from the concurrent control. Concurrent control is designed to ensure that employees' activity produce the correct results and to correct the problems if any. before they become costlier. In case of computer typing, if the spelling is wrong or construction is incorrect, the program immediately alerts the user. Many manufacturing operations include devices that measure whether the items being produced meet the quality standards. Since concurrent control involves regulating ongoing tasks, it requires a complete understanding of the specific tasks involved and their relationship to the desired and the product. Concurrent control sometimes is called steering, screening, or yes-no control because it often involves checkpoints at which decisions are made about whether to continue progress, take corrective actions, or stop work altogether on the product and services. The third type of control is the feedback control. The control takes place after the job is over. The corrective action is taken after analyzing variances with the planned standards at the end of the activity. It is also known as post-action control because feedback control is exercised after the event has taken place. Such control is used when the feed forward or the concurrent is not possible or is very costly, or when exact processes involved is performing a work is difficult to specify in advance. The twin advantages of the feedback control are that meaningful information is received with regard to planning effort, and feedback control enhances employee motivation. Thus, control systems are the composite feed forward, concurrent and feedback controls. Control system can consist of combination of two or more controls. Any combination of these control is used to accommodate various management control needs. Further, control can be grouped according to the three general classifications. One is the nature of the information flow designed into the system, which can be open or closed loop control. Second is the kind of components included in the design, which may be man or machine control systems. Third is the relationship of the control to the design process, which is organizational or operational control. On the basis of the designing, the control system can be mark control, clan control, or bureaucratic control. First is market control. Market control means the creation of the departments or allocation of the resources is done on the basis of market forces. Control is based upon the factors of competition, that is price and market share. The different divisions are converted into the profit centers and their performance is evaluated by the segmental top line, that is turnover. The bottom line is profit and the market share. The second control is clan control. Clan control is a part of the organizational culture. It supports the work related and the performance measure and is in contrast to the hierarchical mechanisms. These control can be designed based on the shared values, culture, norm, tradition, belief, etc. of an organization. This type of control system are used where the changes are very fast, like technology organizations. Third is bureaucratic control. As the name suggests, it control focuses on the authority, rules and regulations, procedures and policies. These are used in the big undertaking like the public sector units in India, which are governed with set rules of standards or rules and regulations. These organizations cannot be controlled if no proper rules and regulations are followed. Such organizations are under the bureaucratic control. For example, in a hospital, no medicine can be used unless the prescription is there and is recorded in the issue register, even if the patients may die in between. On the basis of levels, it can be operational control, structural control, tactical control, strategic control. Let us study in brief one by one. Operational control. This control is used at the low levels of management, that is at the operational level or day-to-day basis. Second is the structural control. It is exercised by the top or the middle management. It is used like whether the organization is overstaffed or the span of control, etc. The two important forms of structural control can be bureaucratic or clan control. Tactical control. As the name implies, it deals with the department level objectives and thus it is exercised by the middle management levels. Fourth is strategic control, which is used by the top level management. The strategy decides the path for an organization. Thus, these controls are used at the strategic level like the functional level to determine the success of the organization towards the fulfillments of the goals. Importance of controlling. First is in the accomplishment of the organizational goals. Controlling helps in comparing the actual performance with the predetermined standards, finding out deviation, taking corrective measures to ensure that activities are performed according to the plans. Thus, it helps in achieving the organizational goals. Judging accuracy of standards and efficient control systems help in judging the accuracy of standard. It further helps in reviewing and revisiting the standard according to the changes in the organization and the environment. Making efficient use of resources. Controlling checks the working of the employee at each and every stage of its operation. Hence, it ensures the effective and the efficient utilization of all the resources with the minimum wastage and spoilage. Next is improving the employee motivation. Employee know the standard against which their performance is to be judged. Systematic evaluation of the performance and consequent reward in the form of increment, bonus, promotion, etc. motivates the employee to put their best effort. Then, facilitating the coordination in the action. Control help in providing the common direction to all the activities of the different departments and efforts of the individual for attaining the organizational objective. Thus, we can say controlling is a process through which all the activities are not only turned into the producing better results, but are also improved in a way to continue success while eliminating the obstacle that get in way of the business progress. In addition, controlling function has a great application during the times that demand immediate attention or action. If the timely action is not taken, then it might be considerable that there is a considerable loss in the business. Hence, such times controlling function is of the great use to offer timely help and assistance to key individuals of the business. Control is not just limited to determine whether or not the plans are being adhered to, but also lead to identify the reasons of deviation and to take corrective actions accordingly. However, this function should not be taken in isolation while there is a need to understand the functionality properly. Characteristics of the controlling function. The following are the basic characteristics of the controlling function. One is controlling function is a management process. It is closely linked with the planning. Thirdly, it is said to be the checking performance as per what has been planned. So, planning precedes controlling and set the standards and targets of performance. Fourth is controlling is a continuous process. It is an ongoing and the dynamic function of the management. It involves continuous review of performance and is not a one-time exercise. The period of control normally depends upon the nature of work, amount of work and the policies of management. Controlling is all pervasive. It is embedded in each level of the organization hierarchy, and control is exercised at all levels of management and is done at every functional area at each unit and department. Controlling is a tool for achieving the organizational activities. It is action oriented process. It points out the error in the execution process, and the very purpose of the control is defeated if corrective action is not taken for the improvement of the performance or the revision of the plans. Controlling is looking forward. Control is futuristic in nature. It measures the current performance and provide the guidelines for the corrective actions, and this ensure the future performance as per the plans. Now students, let us summarize what we have studied. We have studied the introduction to the control, the definition and the concept of the organization control, controlling and the various administrative controls, its procedure, types of controls and as well as the importance of these controls. This can be used to develop an organization in this competitive environment. That is all students. Thank you.